Welcome back to the Smoker Fire channel. He is Alex Walters. I am Owen CK, and this is the only perfect bracket you're ever going to find in America. Alex, let's get started, shall we?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. Like I said off air, I don't think we need to elaborate on Alabama State Auburn. Do we agree?
Nope. Yeah, no, we're good. Great shot from Alabama State, but they don't stand a chance.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, that was a hell of a game.
I don't know. There's Alabama in their name, and we know how Auburn does against Alabama.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's March, so weird shit is obviously going to happen, but even this feels a little bit outlandish. But then again, UMBC beat Virginia, so
you know what?
FDU beat Purdue. Like, weird shit happens all the time. But let's move on. This one I think is going to be. This is a sexy matchup. I like everything about this matchup.
Oh yes.
From a sheer basketball standpoint, I don't know how Louisville doesn't shred the Culk drop defense, which is where they just drop Ryan Kalkbrenner in the paint and just leave him there.
Yeah,
like I just don't see how they don't shred that with Chucky Hepburn and those guys.
I think it'll be close, but I truly think Louisville is going to clear.
Yeah, I just don't see any reason why they. And again, not saying Creighton can't win. I just don't see any reason why Louisville won't put up 80.
Yeah, no, Louisville is just, they are watching them in like the ACC tournament run. I realized, like, I was like, oh, this team should be higher than Clemson on this bracket, truthfully.
Yeah, they are grossly underseeded. I don't know how the hell they ended up on this section of the draw, but we'll move to probably everybody's favorite or second favorite game in this region. It's one of mine.
I'm so excited for this game.
This is also sexy from the simple fact that this is the first year UC San Diego can even make the tournament, and they won 30 games to do it. So, like,
and that's why I have UC San Diego winning this.
I do too, but I just feel like it's going to be a trendy upset pick, and Michigan is either going to drill them or hit a game winner to sink them, and everyone's going to be sad. You know what I mean?
It's possible. I know it's the same point, and I know like people keep harking on it, but there is a good reason, and it's the fact that Michigan turns the ball over like crazy,
and that's what factored in. But here's the problem: no one on UC San Diego is over 6'8", so how in the hell are they going to guard Vlad in the paint?
That's true.
Like they'll put like Tate Jones or somebody big out there on Danny Wolf because he doesn't operate in the paint that much. But who the hell is going to guard Vlad? And when you rack up fouls, then you're going to end up having to put like a 6'6" guard on him, and he's going to get eaten alive.
Well, I think the one thing you'd have to worry about is, like, obviously, you know, they're not going to stop Vlad. They can maybe slow down Danny Wolf, but outside of that, like in terms of this team as like true scorers, there's no one on Michigan who I would trust. And
go ahead.
It's truly just the defense that we have. At least, obviously, it's comparable to like conference play as well. I know UC San Diego they're not going to be out there facing the same people that
Big Michigan West competition versus Big Ten,
but dude, they are notorious. Like, they are really good at picking pockets.
Yeah, one-on-one individual defense. So I think what it's going to be is we're going to let Vlad go for 30 and then shut off the rest of his teammates. That's how my college basketball team won one of their games. They let the star player go for like 30 and 20, and then the rest of his friends had like 15 total, and we smoked them by like 20.
And I imagine that's all you need to do. I mean,
yeah. So I think we'll go with UC San Diego. I like it, but if they don't employ that game plan that I just explained or we just explained, they're going to get torched.
Yeah, it's truly just let Vlad cook, and we will make sure no one else can.
Yeah, shut off the rest of the five out, and don't let Danny Wolf torch you on a ball screen. This one, also sexy matchup from the simple fact that everyone and their mom believes in John Poulikitis and the Yale Bulldogs.
I kind of do too, though.
I am one of those people, but here's the thing. A&M has played in so many close games and so many just back and forth barn burners that they shouldn't be. Same with like Michigan. Like, Michigan's turnover problem creates close games for them when theoretically they probably should have won the Big Ten if they didn't have that turnover problem. But anyways, I'm going to trust A&M to get one here because I think Yale's also going to be another trendy upset pick, and I don't think every single trendy upset pick isn't going to come to fruition. So,
Yeah,
where are you on this?
I agree. As much as I think Yale could win, they have like one loss on their record that really bothers me because it's a team that is in this bracket, but I don't think is that good, and that's Purdue.
Who, Yale has lost to Purdue or A&M does?
They lost to Purdue, and I just if they can't, I truly see like not Texas A&M is a way better team than Purdue.
Yeah,
And
I have a hard time believing this version of A&M is going to go in the first round. If they lose to UC San Diego or Michigan in the second round, that makes complete and total sense. But I don't see them losing to Yale, especially. And people are going to knock Yale for winning their conference tournament because the Ivy is 2 semis in the championship game. So you have to win 2 games in 2 days. Where the Big Ten, you got to win 4 and 5, 5 and 5, 3 and 5, whatever it looks like. You know what I mean?
yeah, give me Texas A&M.
Yeah, we'll go A&M. Oh God, this is my favorite hate watch. Oh.
Dude, so we had a little bit of a conversation about this on Twitter. Was it Twitter?
I think it was Twitter. Yes.
They wiped the floor with San Diego. That is the UNC that I've been expecting all season.
Yeah, well, San Diego State doesn't have a paint presence. Ole Miss does. Iowa State does. Marquette and Michigan State do if they get beyond that. So, like, and this might be a little bit of bias. I'll admit there's a little bit of bias. I just think Ole Miss is going to drill them.
I hope they do.
Truthfully. Like, I think we take Ole Miss because Ole Miss doesn't turn it over that much. They actually turn people over quite a bit for a middling SEC team. Middling being 6th seed in a region. So I just think Ole Miss is going to drill them, and then we're going to have. It's going to go back to the why the hell was Carolina even in the tournament in the first place.
The one thing that I see, like, this isn't really advocating for UNC, but I was talking
By
about
all means, go ahead.
I truthfully hate how that team is like how they ran.
Yeah,
because they have so many really solid, like they don't have a lot of size, but they have so many good defenders that team could easily be like a grit and grind Grizzlies for the college level, where they could grind you out defensively and just tire you out for an entire half. And they refuse to do that sometimes.
I think, and it's kind of like Akron, who's also in this draw that we'll get to later, is they just play at mock Jesus, shoot a lot of shots, and then just slow possessions down on the other end, just by the nature of how they're assembled.
If UNC was being ran correctly, I would probably have them winning this. But because I think they're running this team the exact opposite of how they should be, then yeah, I have to take Ole Miss.
Yeah, I think we have to take Ole Miss. Okay, and Ole Miss drilling them might be a little bit of an exaggeration here, but I think Ole Miss is going to get them here, which is weird because North Carolina is favored in this game, which I think maybe the books are setting us up for something there, but who knows. But next game, I don't think I'm going to overthink this one too much. They're banged up, but they're good enough to beat Lipscomb even without the guys they're missing. We're not going to overthink that one too much. This one, also fun. Great guard matchup here. Love it. Love everything about it. However, I do not trust Shaka Smart in the month of March. Never have, never will. The man hasn't made beyond a Sweet 16 in how many years? Well, you know, we're going to Google it right now. When was the last time? And yes, I'm typing it in all caps because my caps lock is on. Last time Shaka Smart made the Elite 8. We're doing some quick journalism here.
Of course, yeah, you got to.
Coaching career. He made a Final Four in 2011. I don't think he's been anywhere since.
Nope.
So I am going to fade a guy. Now, caveat here, making a Final Four is really fucking hard. But when you haven't made one and he's been coaching for pretty much since it feels like since we were born, or at least since we were super young, and he hasn't made one in 14 years, I'm going to fade that, and I'm going to trust Patino with a better guard and I think a better big man, personally.
I'm not arguing at all. New Mexico was my pick.
However, I could see counterpoint. You could see Marquette it could just be an absolute coaching masterclass, and he could go on a run all the way to the Elite 8, right? So
it's either they lose here or they go all the way to the Elite 8.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think there's anything in between. They're either getting dog walked by New Mexico or they're going to go play Iowa State or Ole Miss in the Elite 8. Play Auburn in the Elite 8, presumably. Excuse me. This one, Bryant plays at Mock Jesus, and you're going against Tom Izzo, a Hall of Famer. Now, this team does not have Dougie Buckets anymore, which makes me sad.
Very true.
I'm gonna take Sparty here. I will hear arguments for Bryant. I just don't see the vision.
I don't like this Michigan State team that much compared to some in the past, but I would have them. I definitely would have them beating Bryant.
Yeah, at least. Auburn, Louisville.
Oh man,
I could see Louisville doing it. It makes complete and total sense in my head because Chucky Hepburn has experience in March. He led the Badgers. Yeah. He's led the Badgers the last couple of years. If Chad Baker Mazar doesn't try to decapitate somebody and get ejected from the game, I don't see why Auburn wouldn't beat Louisville. It's lame. It's square as hell. I understand that, but I just don't see a reality where Auburn doesn't beat them. But again, they could be the Cinderella team if we revisit that later.
I think this is truthfully like I'm trying to think of do I think Bruce
we believe it
or Pat Kelsey can outcoach one another?
Here, I'll offer you this. Louisville was underseeded, but there's been years where the committee, I think it was with Syracuse. I watched the videos, like Syracuse was like 76 or 72nd in RPI, which by RPI is the same as the net, and they couldn't go and basically RPI is like, yeah, you guys shouldn't be in the tournament. Committee put them in anyway, and they went to the Final Four. And that was one of Carmelo Anthony's teams, but
yeah,
at the same time, like
this could be the team to do it though.
And also, here's a hard part of that about them finishing top 3 in the ACC is people are going to shit on the ACC for sending X amount of teams and being like, oh, it's Duke, Louisville, Clemson, and kind of everybody else because the ACC was objectively ass this year.
Terrible. It was awful.
There's no way around it. So
it was very bad.
I like Auburn here, but if you can convince me on Louisville, I'm willing to flip.
When I think, it depends on which. No, Auburn. There's no way I can't count out Auburn as much as I want to try to, for no reason really, other than the fact that I want Louisville to win because I think it would be a great story. Auburn has looked phenomenal.
Yeah, people have kind of written them off because of the last 4, and I'm like, they played one of the most difficult schedules in America. They have a right to be tired when they have to play 30 games and then you've got to play a couple in the SEC tournament, which is infinitely more intense.
That SEC tournament was a bloodbath. Like that is
they tried to kill each other
this year.
Yes, they tried to kill each other, and it was phenomenal to watch. So, next game, real quick, UC San Diego, our Triton wagon against A&M. I'm going to be honest. I think if they can find a way to let Vlad cook and go, A&M's post presence isn't as dominant, I think, as Vlad Golden is. So if they can get by Vlad Golden, I see no reason why they can't take down A&M.
They could.
Not unless A&M gets a scare from Yale and has a sense of urgency and comes out and drills them by 20. But
I mean, yeah, if that game goes south, and Yale is able to get them in, or what's the word I'm thinking of, to knock them down a little bit, it could possibly happen. And I think another thing is Texas A&M. The reason I picked UC San Diego over Michigan was because of the turnovers, and Texas A&M is the exact same problem.
Yeah, because they play in all these close games that are created. So you could take UC San Diego because they're great at forcing them. I kind of on that basis, I love them. Like if we're talking strictly about them creating extra opportunities for themselves in a game against a top 8 SEC team, I see no reason why we don't soldier them on. But here's what I'm worried about. We're going to make this video and post it, and then UC San Diego's going to get drilled by Michigan, and this is going to be a moot point. But yeah, but that's the fun of it here. But second half of that draw, Ole Miss, Iowa State. This is where I think Iowa State's lack of health gets exposed. Taman Lipsey didn't play in their Big 12 semi.
Yep.
Keyshawn, what's his name? Who are they missing? Keyshawn Gilbert. Right there.
Yeah, he is gone. He is.
I don't think Curtis Jones is 100%. I think a lot of those guys are bandaged, for lack of a better term. Now, they're a super deep team, so that might not matter.
Mm-hmm.
But Yeah, I think if they are super banged up and that gets exposed, it would be Ole Miss.
Yeah, I can see because what I'm imagining is that UNC Ole Miss game is going to be a dogfight.
Oh, 100%.
That is going to they're going to be like reeling into this next game, like ready to go. Iowa State is going to be more. I think they're going to be, especially with how banged up they are. It might be a little bit more relaxed going up against Lipscomb, and they won't be ready for Ole Miss.
I think, yeah, that's the advantage. I think that Ole Miss has playing a Power 4 team off the rip where Ole Miss has to, or Iowa State has to play Lipscomb there. Is then again, because like I think it's like the nobody you comments that Green Bay coach made. It's like, what do we get from drilling a team by 20? Obviously, they lost that game, but like the sentiment of what do we get from drilling a team by 20? And now, again, Lipscomb could win and this could all be rendered useless, but I'm going to take the team that's played a Power 4 team off the hop.
Amen. Let's
I'm
do
going
it.
to trust Chris Beard over TJ Otzelberger in that situation. Because I think I love TJ Otzelberger, but I don't know if it's much as much of him as it is his staff scheming things up for success. Because like it's kind of like the Vikings. It's like KLC's a QB whisperer. So that's why Sam Darnold magically got better when he came to play for us. And then
Yeah,
like the whole question is going to be, can he go do that in Seattle without KLC talking him through every single play? So, but enough football cross sport related comparisons. I think Sparty will beat New Mexico. I just Marquette. We're labeling Marquette as frauds. So what does New Mexico get from beating a fraudulent Big East team?
Well, I think it's not even more of like. I think it's just this New Mexico team is underrated.
The committee is absolutely shitting on the Mountain West with these seed lines, but that's a whole nother conversation. I have a hard time because Sparty has guards that match up. Sparty matches up really well with these guys. I'm gonna be honest.
They do.
So I just they have enough guys to throw at Donovan Dent. They've got 4 bigs that they can throw at Nelly Jr. Joseph in the paint. Like Mustafa Amsteel, one of their best 3-point shooters. They got guys like Sparty has every answer that New Mexico could possibly throw to them. And then at that point, it'd be New Mexico winning a game strictly on talent alone.
And Donovan Dent is that good though.
Yes, and that's the thing is you've got an All-American guard on in your backcourt.
And well, that going to be enough?
That's the thing.
I don't think so.
And that's a problem with another team in this draw later on.
But I'm just trying to think, like rack my brain and think of, is there any way they could pull this out? But I think as I sit here,
I think you know what we have to do.
Man, and I love this New Mexico team.
I do too.
I don't want to do it, but
they're not at the pit anymore.
The only thing I could say, arguably, for New Mexico is that they might lose the rebound game.
Yeah, and against a Power 4 team, you already can't afford to do that. So, let alone the Big Ten regular season champion. Yeah, you muted yourself.
But I think losing the rebound game or not, their depth is so it should be enough to push them past.
Yeah. So back up to the top, I think the wagon comes to a screeching halt here because UC San Diego is going to at some point get out athletic.
Auburn is
if anybody's going to do it, it was Auburn. So other half of that draw, Izzo and his team are rolling in March. At this point, I think, again, I could see arguments for Ole Miss, but I really love Sparty. Really love Sparty here. They're not going to turn over Ole Miss a ton, but they're going to make Ole Miss use 27 seconds of the shot clock and get bad looks. Like, they have an answer for Malik Dia. Again, they got guys that can throw Sean Paguli, even though he's a veteran guard. Like, I have a hard time believing Sparty at this point isn't rolling after playing two really, really difficult games because Bryant's going to push. I think Bryant will push them a little bit. Mexico's obviously going to push them. Like,
man,
are you with me there?
1-2 make it this far?
Yeah, but look at what it took to get there. It took a 6 seed winning multiple games. Took a 12 seed winning multiple games. Took a 10 seed.
You know what, Michigan? Yeah, go ahead and give me Michigan State.
Yeah. So who's your regional champion here?
Auburn.
Yeah.
Auburn. This Auburn team is.
But again, if if Izzo pops up and wins that region, I would not be remotely shocked at all.
I wouldn't either. As much as I don't like this Michigan State team, it is Izzo,
Yeah.
and you can't count Izzo out.
Do you want to go to the East, or you want to stay up here and then scroll down?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do the East.
All right, I'm gonna save everybody the app. And that American game in Mount St. Mary's is tipping here, probably fairly short. Yeah, it's tipping here in 20 minutes, but
The Texas Xavier game is what I can't wait for.
yeah, that's the second. I love how we have like a bunch of conference champions from mid majors that are playing to get in the draw.
Oh,
And
it's
then you've
tipped
got
off now. The game is going now.
Yeah, so it's going on now. I think the Texas Xavier tip is at 9:10 local your time.
Yeah.
But second game, Mississippi State Baylor. I've gone back and forth on this one for
This one's tough.
days.
This one is tough. I think I had Baylor.
And it's
on
like
my
the first
first-
game of the day on Friday, which is annoying.
Dude, I know I'm gonna miss the Louisville Creighton game, which is one of the ones that I wanted to watch the most.
Simply, so am I. I'm gonna miss all the Thursday games. I'm gonna have to sneak watch them. But,
You know what? I'm a big fan. I'm a very big fan of the guy. Give me Baylor. I love VJ Edgecombe. I truly love VJ Edgecombe.
yeah, I haven't watched enough Mississippi State ball to comfortably say that they're gonna beat Baylor. And Baylor again is criminally not underseeded, but I think a lot of people have written them off because they kind of snuck their way into the tournament. But
yeah,
you forget they hit a game. I believe that was Baylor. They hit a game winner in Maui and on Thanksgiving. So
they
that kind of just they have a paint presence. They've got guards.
they've beat one. They've had one good game against against a decent team. Well, they've had a couple where it wasn't like getting blown out. I mean, they beat Kansas, but they've lost a lot of other really good teams. But you can say the same thing for Mississippi State.
Yeah, and you can say the same thing for Kansas, who's in this draw as a 7th seed as well.
Hold up. No, I was sorry. I was looking at games real quick. Yeah, give me Baylor. Mississippi State lost to Pittsburgh. They lost, and if I were to ask you how much you think they lost to Pittsburgh by, what would you think?
Probably based on the fact that you had a visceral reaction to it, I'm going to say double figures.
33.
Yes.
Give me Baylor.
Yes, that makes complete sense. Oregon Liberty. So I have actually watched Liberty basketball unironically. They are really good defensively. I will give them that. However, people are going to say this, and I'm going to appeal to the casual fan here. They do play in the Conference USA. So grain of salt, same idea with UC San Diego. But I had an argument on Twitter with somebody about this. It's like, oh yeah, UCSD is one of the best turnover generating teams in the country. He's like, they did it against bums. I'm like, by that logic, then every mid-major that's good at anything means literally nothing to you. He's like, that's exactly what it means. And I'm like, then what edge do you want them to get? At that point, it's a moot point. We should just have the top 4 seeds in all the regions play in the Elite 8, and we can move on with it, right?
Yeah.
But that just drives me nuts. But
no, I agree.
With that said, I'm going to take Oregon because I think Jackson Shellstad plays like I think he plays like Russell Westbrook. I'm going to be honest. He's kind of pissed off all the time.
I can get that. I think
he's going to wield Oregon to a win. Arizona Akron. Again, I think this is the exact same scenario as UC San Diego, Michigan. Is Akron doesn't have a player over 6'8" on their roster either. They shoot a shit ton of threes. They play really fast. And then Arizona has Caleb Love and a bunch of big men. And like Henry Visar, who's been a revelation for them lately, who wasn't even supposed to be in the picture that as much as he is. So I just
Arizona they have played really well though this year in the games that matter.
Yeah, and I have a hard time believing Akron's not going to be another trendy upset pick.
I don't think Akron can do it. I really don't. I would love it if they could.
Obviously. Yeah. And I secretly want them to, even though that would ruin our super perfect bracket that we're currently crafting, but I just don't see it.
Now, this next one, I don't even have to argue it.
I need to hear.
Give me.
Okay, thank God. Because I have friends who are going to be like, oh, you're a casual. They play in the A-10, they're shitty. And I'm like, BYU loves to shoot a shit ton of threes.
And they can't make them.
Yeah, but I'm saying, they're basically Akron, except they don't make them at the same clip. And their offense isn't nearly as efficient. Then again, I did see them torch Arizona and Tucson, going like 15 of 30. But that's besides the point here. What is VCU good at? Running people at the 3-point line, 3-point defense. What is BYU's offense? 3-point shots.
The
Now,
amount of perfect matchups we are getting in the round of 64 is beautiful.
yeah, this is like an unstoppable force versus an immovable object game, if I'm being completely honest.
I'm taking VCU, though.
Yes, 100%. I'm with you on that one. I have them going a lot further in some personal brackets, but we, again, get to that later.
Yeah, me too.
I want to take Montana really bad because I'm a Gopher fan, and I don't like seeing the Badgers succeed, but I have a hard time believing they're not going to torch Montana. They're like 17-point favorites against Montana.
Yeah, Wisconsin's really they're elite this year.
I think at some point their 3-point shooting variance is going to catch up with them a little bit, but it's not now.
This might be their best year since was it 2014? Yeah, the 2014 round with Frank Kaminsky.
Yeah. St. Mary's Vandy. I just don't trust Vandy at all. I watched them. I don't even remember who I watched them get torched by, but they just looked atrocious. Like they either rise up and beat an Auburn, or they just get torched by a bottom feeder, like an Arkansas team who barely made it into the SEC tournament. Like,
oh, dang.
Okay, maybe not Arkansas. That's a bad comp, but they either get torched by a bottom feeder, or they torch Auburn, and it feels like there's nothing in between.
Oh, talking about Vandy?
Yeah, I'm talking about Vandy.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in this. In every bracket I've done, they don't pull out of this game.
Yes, and again, it's entirely possible we get the version of Vandy that's capable of beating Auburn, but St. Mary's has been here so many times. They've had so many heartbreaks. I refuse to believe they don't get at least one in the first round of this tournament. So, and again, we'll save the people the yap. Robert Morris is a fun story, but you're playing against the fastest team in America.
Yeah,
it's not gonna. I don't think. Now maybe, who knows? Maybe our Robert Morris covers the spread, whatever that number is, but I don't see them winning that game. But again, FDU beat Purdue, so that's the caveat in all of these. I'm gonna save it here. Baylor, fun story, but Cooper Flag is back at this point. I'd imagine
he will be. But what worries me, at least getting later into the bracket for Duke, is
his conditioning.
That Malik Brown being gone is kind of scary for this team. And now, if you're getting ACC tournament Con Knipple, then wipe the board clean. They're going all the way.
Yeah, but you'll get that in round one because that's probably all they'll need to beat either American or Mount St. Mary's. But
with him, it's been very. I guess it really just depends on is Tyrese Proctor hitting his shots, because that was a big problem up until the last game for him. Malik Brown is done. He's cooked. He's not coming back. He's out.
What actually happened?
Tore his rotator cuff.
Oh, that sounds.
He's done.
Delightful. That's great. Love it. But next matchup, Oregon, Arizona. That's fun. I love it.
Give me Oregon.
Really? I need to hear you out first before I make any decisions.
So when I look at this Arizona team, Caleb Love he's a solid guard.
He's either really on or he's really off is the problem.
Yeah, and he used to play for UNC, so I watched him all the time.
Yeah.
But then again, take back what I said. Give me Arizona.
Yeah, I
just remembered that Oregon lost to Illinois, and Illinois sucks.
And Arizona's got more depth. Oregon's got Nate Biddle, and there's not a lot of size behind him. Like I said, Arizona's got 2 or 3 bigs that they can go to.
Mm.
So I just have this game. I want to do it. I'm
with you. Do it. Press that
button. Yes, because again, VCU got a great first 2 games in the draw because they're likely going to get 2 teams that shoot a fuck ton of threes, and that is exactly what they are phenomenal at defending.
And that's all they have to do they will get it done because they've done that all year.
And they've got size at every position. Like this isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love. I gotta stop blazing, but they have Max Shulga, who's a dog. That's it.
I love this VCU team is they're just so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like if you want a team that's like I said, UNC needs to be where like grind you out. That's what VCU will do.
Yeah. And they go 8 deep so they can do it nightly, and they'll get rest in between games too,
Yeah.
which is going to help a ton. St. Mary's Bama,
Same.
elite defense versus elite offense. I think St. Mary's is now going to implode. They're going to get their obligatory round of 64 win, and then Mark Sears is going to drop 40.
Yeah, I would love it if they could. It'd be great to have a 7 and 11 seed. But Alabama they look like they are at full
Vengeance.
at full force right now.
But here's the problem with Bama is Grant Nelson's health. Is he going to I wonder if they take the Cooper Flag approach and they sit him in the round of 64 game knowing that they're good enough to torch Robert Morris and probably won't have to empty the tank to get that one done. Is another element to that. But Duke, Arizona. At this point, I think we have ACC tournament con Knipple, and Cooper Flag's gotten a full 40 minutes of basketball under his belt. And Caleb Love randomly will go on spurts where he's great and then he's not. I think this is one of those where he won't be. Then again, Sweet 16, he could rise up. I could be entirely wrong about that. But
I worry about this, though.
Yes, and this upset is very realistic, but I don't trust Arizona in big games. They lost to BYU in their own building.
Because Duke is notorious for blowing stuff like this. This is where they start to sweat. And
are you advocating for Arizona to pick them off and fuck with like 50% of brackets?
Look at my room. Do I want to?
No, you don't.
But
you might not have a choice.
Obviously, I think Duke is the better team, and they should win this game. But I have watched every Duke game in an NCAA tournament, and I have seen so many times them look great in the first 2 games, but because they're being led by freshmen, they suck when they go against.
Thank you. Everyone's like, oh my God, they're built to go all the way. And I'm like, they're being led by guys who can't even legally drink a beer and barely can vote. And you're going to look me in the eyes and tell me because at some point, winning on talent alone isn't enough for them. You have to have tournament experience. Like Mark Sears and the other regional semi that we have there that we'll get to in a second has experience. Bama went to the Final Four last year.
Yeah.
He's played 2 years at Ohio, so he's played mid to high major basketball his entire career. He has the experience. So do you want to take Arizona here? Do you think the boys implode, or do you think they get one more and then it gets difficult?
This Arizona team, truthfully, do I think Arizona is good enough to give them that one more? I would take Duke on this one.
Yes.
But past this, that's where it gets shaky.
Yeah. So who are they playing? Are they going to play, again, our VCU wagon or Bama?
Bama, but I hate that we have a 1-2 on each side.
I know, but again, I think Bama just plays at fast pace in general. But again, I can see VCU being able to slow them down from the simple fact of Bama's going to create a bunch of possessions because they get a bunch of shots up. And that's going to play into VCU's favor. Because all you simply have to do is play 25 seconds on the shot clock. And if you can get a quality look inside of 5 to 10 seconds on the shot clock, you're going to reduce the number of possessions that Bama's going to get. So
I think this is the point for VCU where the talent gap is too wide.
Yes, I would tend to agree. As much as I want to advance them, I just don't see the vision.
But then give me Bama in this one.
Yeah, I think Duke shits their pants at some point. I think it's right here. But
three of your starting 5 are freshmen, and that's never. When was the last time like a true freshman, one and done freshman, carried a team all the way?
Yes. And
Jalil Okafor.
Yeah.
If you want to know.
Yeah, and that was what, 15 years ago?
Right? Yeah, 2014.
Yes. Excuse me, 11.
Yeah.
West Region. We will save you the yap.
Yep.
Christian Ings, Norfolk State, great season, but Florida has a point guard that's so cold you forget his name is Walter. You forget his name is Walter Clayton Jr. because he's disgusting.
Oh man.
This next one, my analysis here is simple. It's Dan Hurley in March after he's already said his entire team is either knows where they're going next year or is already at the portal. yoink. I'm
Yeah.
not.
There's Dan Hurley. You can never.
He's not going out this sad, even with as bad of a season as I've had.
Yeah. And I mean, Liam McNeely could truthfully go off.
Yeah, he should. I think we've been asking for it for months, but nonetheless, Memphis, Colorado State. Colorado State's favored in this game. I think you know where I'm going. Memphis
Injuries.
Injuries, and they're entirely reliant on that one guy along with his backcourt mate when they're healthy. So I think when your identity is too specific to your because great guard play wins you games in March, but when you are too reliant on said guards and Dane Danger can't provide for you as a big man, I'm going to take Nick Clifford and a team that was 5-5 and is absolutely rolling. Also, Colorado State's head coach might be the Gophers head coach by the time his tournament run ends because he was born and raised in the Twin Cities. So I'm going to lean into that angle as well. So he doesn't want to start recruiting for the Gophers yet. So he's going to try and buy himself a couple days. But Maryland, GCU.
Maryland.
Yeah, Crab 5 is fucking gross, dude.
Derek
I can't
Queen.
even. Lottery pick. I refuse to hear any other arguments.
Yes. He is going. They're not stopping him.
No. This game, again, I want to be talked off of Drake really bad, but I just can't. Like, I want to pick Mizzou here too. Like, I just can't do. I don't know what to do with this one.
With the Missouri and Drake.
Yeah.
The one thing I like about not Drake.
Mizzou.
Yeah, is I mean they're another one of those like really, they're a deep team. Who, while they might not have like a ton of size, because Josh Gray is how tall? I don't even know how tall Josh Gray is.
Let's do some journalism for the people.
I want to say he's on the high 6 foot, or maybe even 7. He might be there, but he doesn't play enough. So I don't know.
7 foot 260.
Okay, but I know he doesn't. He's not even a start, or if he is a start, he barely plays. So
they're gonna have to start him because you need a legitimate paint presence in the tournament to function. At least in the first weekend.
Give me Drake. I think Drake.
I think Ben McCollum's a genius. He coached at Northwest Missouri State, which they played my school in like the national tournament because it's one of the couple conferences in our region. And hold on. Let's go look at Ben McCollum's resume real quick.
Pull it up.
Just so the people know how ridiculous this man is. Where's his Wikipedia page? Head coaching record. I mean, look at it.
I can't even see it. You're only sharing that tab.
Okay, well, just know that he's won their conference. He won a natty in 2022, 2021, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015.
Oh yeah.
And before that, Sweet 16. Yes, this guy just wins basketball games, plain and simple. And he brought 2 of his guards with them. So I'm going to take Drake there on that basis that their head coach is a savage.
I'm with you.
And then I'm going to take Texas Tech because they're banged up, but again, same idea as other teams with big seed gap matchups is they're good enough to, like with Duke, they're good enough to win their round of 64 game without flag.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Not going to spend too much time there. This is the greatest first round game I think I've ever seen from the simple fact that you have 2 Hall of Fame coaches.
Yeah.
But
one of these teams
is not like
notoriously can't make it out of the first.
Would you be referring to Kansas?
Yes. Now, is this the year they do it? I don't think so.
I think it is because everyone's written them off. I don't remember who I mentioned that they wrote has been written off earlier, but everyone's written them off. And this is they would just be the most perfect year for them to just go on a run. Hunter Dickinson's last year. Yeah. Bill Self's had to release mid-season statements about his team's play. His players are getting death threats, dude. Like,
I mean, I don't want that for him.
I don't either. But I just
But Kansas has been
Arkansas is too
so
inconsistent for me.
they have been so but the same thing is gonna be said with Kansas.
Yeah, but what they did in the Big 12 tournament impressed me enough to the point where I believe in them more than I believe in Arkansas. It's Coach Cal's first year at Arkansas. These aren't his guys. Like
Yeah,
then
yeah.
again, the transfer portal era skews that a little bit, but I just believe in KU enough for them to get at least one.
Does that Mississippi State win from Arkansas not convince you enough though? Is it not enough for you?
No, because then they proceeded to lose a bunch of. Let me hold on. Let's go look at Arkansas's
I
resume.
think they lost to Ole Miss right after that. I think.
Yeah, this is the 12th best team in the SEC. I don't.
But the SEC is a dogfight.
It is like they beat Texas, they beat Mizzou. There's a confusing loss on here somewhere. I just know there's a game that they dropped that they shouldn't have dropped. Yeah, they lost, brother. They lost to LSU, who's one of the few teams that didn't make the SEC tournament.
I mean, yeah, you're right there.
Like on that basis, and then they get drilled by Tennessee, Ole Miss. Like, yeah, I don't trust Arkansas. Again, completely moot point, but it is what it is. We'll go KU for now. Again, subject to change. The Godfather or trash cans? Where are you?
Yeah, give me the Godfather.
Yeah, he's gonna dress up in like a red suit or some shit, and it's just gonna look fucking sick. Have you seen the still frames of him in like a white suit with a red
Yes.
background? Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Talk about aura.
It's insane. Yeah, Walter Clayton and the boys. I don't need to elaborate much here. UConn is great. They're good enough to beat Jeremiah Fears in Oklahoma, but they are not good enough to beat Florida. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. But again, upsets do happen. I just don't see this one happening. Crab 5. This one, I've had trouble with this one because Colorado State goes 8 deep routinely here, and Maryland is heavily reliant on that Crab 5 to get them through games. And at some point, you have to get contributions from your bench guys. Like, I don't remember who was it. It's not Golke because I think Golke was a starter, but it's some guy. It's like some random dude off the bench is going to have to go fucking nuts for your team to win games.
And the tournament is where those deeper teams will end up pulling out on top.
But here's the trade-off there is it's a deep Mountain West team versus a top-heavy Big Ten team. Is that offset enough to the point where Maryland just overpowers these guys?
Is Derek Queen good enough?
I think he is, but at some point Maryland's depth, I think, is going to get exposed.
Yeah. Let me look up something real quick. I don't want to be wrong before I say this. So hold on.
We do accurate journalism around here, but some more. I'll give you some more yap while we talk about it.
Yeah, yap it up real quick.
It's like Nick Clifford's great and the Crab 5 is great, but I just don't. I don't know who else on Colorado State's capable of like Jalen Crocker Johnson. Like who's capable of rising up for Colorado State to get them this one? Because like then again, the caveat there is they beat Memphis, who's considered underseeded by some people or overseeded by some people. Like there's a bunch of trade-offs going on here. So I think it's one of those where it's like Maryland has enough to get it done, but how long does that last before your starter's playing 36, 37 minutes and your bench guys playing no more than like 20, whatever that number is, becomes a problem.
Coming out on top.
Yeah, I'm going to take Maryland here.
Because if Colorado State was like better defensively than they are, because they're not that great defensively, then I would see them being able to lock down Derek Queen. They're not going to.
Yeah.
They're not.
Drake, Texas Tech. Oh, fuck.
I've got Texas Tech. I think this Texas Tech team could be one of those teams.
They might be healthy by then, too, because I think they'll take a Cooper Flag approach with some of their guys. They can sit them against Wilmington because they're good enough to beat them. And then be like, you guys get a couple days off. You're fresh and ready to go because we're going to get Drake or you're going to get a red-hot Mizzou team. Yeah, St. John's doesn't shoot the three very well, but neither does KU. That's the problem. And if that's the case, plays into St. John's favor. But
I'm trying to think on if
I have a hard time believing St. John's is going to lose this game.
I
Because
know, but
Kadari Richmond's better than.
opinion. I can't bring myself to do a 1, 2, 3, 4. I
We might
can't.
have to
Never,
though.
it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't think Kansas is the 7th seed that's going to pop up. If I'm being honest with you.
Wait, there's another one who I like. Yeah, actually, yeah, more. So you know what?
Yeah,
St.
let's go
John's.
St. John's. Rick Pitino's not going out in the round of 32 unless his team plays like hot dog shit. But
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm gonna keep this one relatively simple. We talked about Maryland's lack of depth. Florida could go 10 deep, and those 6 through 10 could probably start most places in America. The way this team looks right now.
Yeah, they are on a historical run.
So, and again, it's gonna be super trendy. I like Johns here because Texas Tech. Now the injuries will catch up with them. Like they'll get healthy, but those guys won't have continuity. Like you know what I mean? Like here's what it is for Tech with me. They're gonna sit those guys against Wilmington. Then they're gonna use the Drake game to get back up to speed, and they're gonna look phenomenal. And then I think St. John's is gonna bring them back to earth. It's kind of where I'm at with this, but
I don't know. I feel like if Texas Tech is rolling in our bracket, though, the thing is, the one thing that scares me is they haven't faced the competition you'd expect them to that St. John's has had.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
But I think that second round against Kansas
it's gonna
wear them out.
You think Kansas just absolutely pushes them to the limit there?
I think Kansas will end up pushing them to the limit.
I think that's entirely possible. So you want to take Tech?
I would take Texas Tech. I feel like that at this point, they had UNC Wilmington. I don't have faith. I don't have a lot of doubt that they're gonna clear that out, no problem. Drake might give them a little bit of pushback, but not enough to where they're gonna be gassed.
But it also might be enough where it's like, okay, we got to start ramping it up here because we're not going to play mid-major teams in the Sweet 16 and beyond, presumably.
Because I can tell you this, Pitino is not going to let that Kansas St. John's game. They're gonna fight that out.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I think that's going to be an absolute rock fight. I'm taking Florida here because again, I think Florida is just going to steamroll their way to the Final Four, and then they'll face the adversity. Personally,
that's where when they have to go against Auburn.
Yeah, that's when they might struggle. So this might be one of the more fun regions I think I'm looking at here.
I love this region.
I have a connection to SIUE, so
I thought you were about to say
there's no, I'm not going to take them, but I'm saying like I have a basketball player that went to Winona State here. We covered his brother last year. We covered both here last year. They both transferred to schools in their home state of Illinois, and one of them, his name is Declan Dillon, and he plays for SIUE. However, you're playing against a Kelvin Sampson team. What do Kelvin Sampson teams do? They put you in a torture chamber.
Until they get to later rounds.
Yeah, and then I won't say that they're gonna do that in the first weekend, I imagine. But this next one, oh my god, dude, why the fuck is Gonzaga an 8th seed? Why is Gonzaga an 8th seed? They literally won the WCC after being written off in early February.
I don't know, because when I look at this, especially like this bracket. First off, no, yeah, you're right. You at least give them 6. Illinois sucks. Illinois is god awful. Swap the two.
What do you mean?
I'm saying, like, if we're talking about Gonzaga, like I think Gonzaga is a better team, and like in terms of some of the seeding, I don't like the seeding on this end of the bracket really.
Oh, you saying put Illinois in that 8-9 game and then put Gonzaga in 6? Okay, yeah. On that logic, we can advance the dogs, but that game's we to talk about here. Clemson McNeese.
I've got Clemson winning this.
Yes, this is the Will Wade game, and I think here's my hot take: is one of these mid-major teams is going to be like last year's McNeese team that everybody fell in love with. I think it's either going to be High Point or UC San Diego, where everybody loves them. It's a great story. They get in and then they just get fucking drilled.
So I guess we don't even have to discuss the next game then.
No, we do because roll Panthers.
No, yep, that's it. That's all we got to do. High Point. I don't have faith in this Purdue team.
Before people call us crazy, High Point one's one of the best offenses in America. It's so goddamn good. They're top. No, I'm pretty sure they're top 30 in KenPom. You can Google that real quick while I'm yapping, but yeah, they're like top 30 in KenPom. It's kind of just ridiculous to do. They've got high major talent all over the place. They got Bodo who can guard the paint. Like Purdue didn't have a lot of size, So I think they're going to struggle a little bit with it. But at the same time, again, this could be one of those where everybody loves High Point and then Purdue goes out and drills them by 15. Like, that's what I'm worried about. I'm just worried one of these double-digit seeds is going to play like a double-digit seed and just get fried. But do you have any update on that Ken Palm stuff?
No, I can't find it right now.
Yeah, I think it's top 30. Someone in the comments can fact check us on that when we get to this game. But Texas Xavier, I don't think either of them should be here personally, but Texas did enough in the SEC tournament to get in. So if you want to justify that, and Xavier slipped in, but Illinois, everyone wrote Illinois off too. Like I remember there was a time when Illinois got drilled. I don't remember who drilled them,
Duke,
but they got.
it was Duke. They drilled him by like what felt like 60.
Yeah, and I don't think that game was ever close. I don't think they're ever going to play that poorly again, let alone against a Texas team that's I don't believe in. And
I think Trey is such a pure scorer though, to where he can get them past. I think Texas will go to that game, and I think
yes,
Trey is going to be such a pure scorer to where Illinois will not be able to keep up with him.
yeah.
Truthfully, that's what I have. I don't think Illinois is making it out of the round of 64.
I mean, I think they will, and I think they get drilled by their next opponent, which is presumably going to be Kentucky, unless you have arguments for Troy, the Sun Belt champion.
The only reason I would argue Troy is just injuries for Kentucky, but I would still take Kentucky.
Yeah, but again, this is one of those where it's also such a huge talent gap that I don't think it really necessarily matters unless Troy plays their best ball and Kentucky's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 guys play like hot ass.
It was 43, by the way.
Yeah, 43. Yeah, so they're top 50. Regardless, they're a mid-major team that plays in the Big South as top 50 in America on offense. I think that means something.
But then they lost to Maryland by 23.
Yeah, but Maryland's not on their side of the draw. Ha 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 ha. Just kidding. I love Utah State because I think UCLA is criminally overrated. Tyler Bilodeau is possibly one of the worst big men I've ever seen. He's a white guy, so that hurts me to say. We Gophers beat UCLA, dude. Like, I know we can't, regular season basketball doesn't necessarily matter, but history plays a role. Like, I think Utah State is, again, also slept on here because they didn't win the Mountain West like they were, or at least be in the Mountain West title game they were expected to do.
Yeah.
So I think they punch UCLA in the mouth. Okay.
There's no argument I have for that, really.
Yeah. Do you have any argument for Wofford?
No.
Yeah.
I want one of these 15 seeds to win.
Yeah, but if it was, I would low key pick this one or this one because it would be the most classic Patino or Rick Barnes thing ever to just implode in the first round of the tournament.
Yeah.
It would just make complete and total sense. All right, a couple games left here. I want to take Gonzaga really bad. It's just looking at me funny. Like, the metrics love them. I'm pretty sure they're top 10 in most metrics. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, it's just looking at me funny.
I don't think Houston would lose this game. I'd have them losing the next one, truthfully, against Clemson.
Yeah, I think Clemson will find a way to strap up High Point at that point because I think Purdue's just bad.
Yes, Purdue is bad.
As bad as a 4 seed is in March Madness, but Illinois or Kentucky, this is considered your fraud game, I think.
I don't like Illinois, man. But I don't think Kentucky's frauds. I do think Illinois could maybe utilize the fact that Kentucky is injured. Because who is Kentucky going to be missing for this tournament? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I just know they're missing enough pieces where it might become a problem.
And if it's as significant as I think it is, then I would take Illinois.
Are you Googling it real quick?
Yes, I'm looking. I'm trying to go to Kentucky's roster and look at their injury report.
I'm gonna go to their RotoWire college basketball because they give out semi-accurate lineups. We were looking at.
Here we go. They're gonna miss. Oh god. They're missing Jackson Robinson and Kirk Risa.
I think it's Kirk Reese is their best one of their. No, it's
Yeah,
Kobe
so
Bryant,
that's
but
give
Kirk
me
Reese is their
Iowa.
point guard. You
And
take IU.
Illinois, not Iowa.
Yeah. I think
Tennessee.
Tennessee wins that game because they're going to put Utah in a torture chamber. UCLA is bad enough where Utah State's going to get one, I think. So,
I'd have Clemson, Tennessee. Battle of the Orange.
Clemson's been here before. I like Clemson here from the simple fact that I think Houston might get worn out from Gonzaga because then Gonzaga is going to push them a lot harder than casual basketball fans will expect.
Houston's also just had the issue of being one of the top teams in the country and not getting over the hump in the NCAA tournament.
Consistently, yeah.
Like,
And that
it's
was
every year.
last year when they had our glorious King Jamal Shed, they couldn't do it either.
No, and I don't see that changing this year. I don't think this team is better than last year's team.
Yeah, and I think Tennessee puts Illinois in a box, honestly.
Tennessee's going to walk them.
Yeah, and then I think this would be, if there's ever a Rick Barnes melt job, I think it would be here. I like Clemson.
I love Clemson. I think this team is – they may have lost to Louisville, but –
all right, we got a 1-1, a 2, and a 5. I want to take Florida so bad, dude.
I would take Florida. Take Florida.
Fuck yeah, I'm in.
SEC. They're on. I think the biggest thing that's helping Florida is the role that they are on right now.
Yes, 100%.
They are just rolling, and when you have like that momentum, especially going into this tournament, it will carry you.
Yes.
So they're going to beat Auburn. And
this other one's tough because like I'm of the belief that at some point that's what got Alabama killed last year. Is at some point somebody figured out their style of ball, and I just wonder if that's going to happen again. Like they're just going to steamroll their way all the way like the Elite Eight, struggle at that game, maybe advance, and then go to the Final Four, and whoever comes out of the Midwest just either drills them or beats them straight up.
Clemson, man.
Okay. I mean,
no, Alabama.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Bama because unless Clemson finds a way to play the game at their pace, it's difficult because Bama's going to Bama's going to force you immediately. Like it's going to be no secret what they're trying to do off the hop.
Yeah.
So, however,
Florida's taking it.
Yeah, I think Florida takes it. How many points are we predicting for the people?
Ooh, oh man.
Buck 75 because Florida's played in track meets before.
Yeah, knowing these two teams, that score is going to be through the roof.
Yeah, I'm going to go buck 75. We are going to submit this joint. With that said, guys, I am Owen Klein. He is Alex Walters. This was our bracket episode. This should be out sometime tomorrow. Follow us on all our socials. He's at the Bean Team. I'm at OTCK on TikTok. You can find me everywhere. You can find him everywhere. You can find our co-host Jack, who had some life stuff to attend to because he doesn't love the channel as much as we do.
He doesn't think about the channel like we do.
Yeah, he doesn't think about the channel like we do. But that's all for now, guys, and we will see you in the next one.
Adios.